NFL draft is over, which means we have to talk NFL draft winners and losers for fantasy football. First, let's start with the losers. Who are the guys who lost the most value? Now, we're going to talk about an obvious one first, but the answer is Kenneth Walker. Obviously, you can say Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. That's totally fine as well. But Kenneth Walker went into the draft as a top 5 dynasty running back. There really wasn't a lot of concern about anyone that they could potentially add to this backfield. But then they went ahead and added the consensus RB3 in Zach Charbonnet to this backfield, who can compete with exactly the same kind of targets, exactly the same types of carries as a Kenneth Walker. These guys are going to cannibalize each other. Sure, Kenneth Walker will get the edge in this backfield, but it's not going to be something that when we get to the end of the season that he is 60-40 splitting. It's honestly probably going to be a 50-50 split, and Zach Charbonnet may take most of the passing down volume. So when you look at this backfield, it's a backfield that is probably capped at 2 high-end RB2s with some upside, but really Kenneth Walker plummets in value. He goes from a top 5 dynasty running back to probably more RB8 at the absolute highest, probably more RB10 to 15, because Zach Charbonnet isn't going to go away. They are both going to be very good running backs in the NFL, and they're going to cannibalize each other's touches for the foreseeable future. My second loser coming out of the NFL draft is a running back that probably a lot of people aren't going to knock a ton because of the addition of this running back, but the Jacksonville Jaguars drafted Tank Bigsby, and I think he is actually more of a threat than people are expecting to Travis Etienne. So Travis Etienne is my second loser coming out of this NFL draft because he might be a guy who ends up being used more often on the passing downs than the early down work. I think Tank Bigsby could eat into that quite a bit. Both of these guys are going to be viable. Travis Etienne is still the guy I would much prefer when you talk about fantasy football, when you talk about dynasty fantasy football. He doesn't take anywhere near as big of a hit as a Kenneth Walker does, but it's something that the addition of Tank Bigsby is not something to just ignore. He will be regularly used in this backfield, and Travis Etienne probably drops from a fringe RB1 for Dynasty into the high-end RB2 for Dynasty. He's going to take more of a hit than people are expecting, and I think Tank Bigsby is a guy you can get in your rookie drafts at a nice value right now. The final thing we need to talk about as overall losers coming out of the NFL draft is the rookie running backs. I mean, Bijan Robinson, sure. Jahmyr Gibbs, he got the draft capital. The landing spot's a little bit weird, but it's going to work out. Obviously, DeAndre Swift was traded. Zach Charbonnet goes to Seattle and has to share with Kenneth Walker. So outside of those 3, no running back got the draft capital that we were hoping for. Roshan Johnson went in the 4th. Tyjae Spears ends up behind Derrick Henry. The Izzy Abanikanda, all the guys that people were saying, these are the sleepers, these are the guys who are going undervalued. They went in the 4th round or later. All of the rookie running backs are losers coming out of this class if they were not Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay, so a big winner for me coming out of the NFL draft, it's time to talk winners, is Christian Watson for the Green Bay Packers. He was a guy who I wasn't really high on. I don't think he had, wide receiver 1 as an outcome for him, whether they added someone or not. But the reality is they only added Jaden Reed. And I think Reed is a good player, but he actually complements Christian Watson very well. I think Christian Watson will be the alpha in this offense. He will primarily run as the X receiver. Jaden Reed is going to be used to take the top off the defenses, and Christian Watson's probably going to be the target hog, who also is the most likely to be the biggest playmaker at the wide receiver position for the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love is obviously a new quarterback. He's going to take time to adjust with Jaden Reed as likely the wide receiver 2, but he's going to start as the wide receiver 3 behind Romeo Doubs in this offense. So Christian Watson is a huge winner. He doesn't get any of the premier wide receivers as competition, which means he will be the go-to target. He will be the go-to playmaker of all of the pass catchers for the Green Bay Packers. Huge win for Christian Watson. The next guy I have as a winner is actually a running back for the New England Patriots, Rhamondre Stevenson. Stevenson got 0 competition added to his backfield. So he's right now battling Pierre Strong. He's battling James Robinson, really. There's not much competition for Rhamondre Stevenson. He's likely to be a top 8 running back in 2023. And honestly, who knows what they add next year. But right now, Rhamondre Stevenson is a guy whose value skyrocketed. People were talking about maybe the Patriots add someone to this backfield that's kind of their MO, that's kind of Belichick's MO. And some people actually sold on Rhamondre Stevenson for like the 108 in a rookie draft or the 107 in a rookie draft. Right now, I would never make that move. The 107 and 108 lost a ton of value in rookie drafts, especially, even in Superflex leagues, but in 1QB leagues especially. So Rhamondre Stevenson is a guy where if you were patient, you held on, hoped that Belichick would not add a running back. That paid off for you in a major way because you have a top 8 dynasty running back right now. And right now, the sky is the limit for Stevenson in this Patriot offense. He is the primary playmaker for this team, and he is going to score an absolute ton of fantasy points for your fantasy football team. All right, so there's a number of other guys who just didn't get competition added, things like that. But I want to talk about a rookie that got drafted in round 1, had got a ton of value. It's a guy we've talked about probably on every single fantasy football channel that's out there, but it's Anthony Richardson. Sure, he went 4 to the Colts. That's a big win. He got the capital. He ended up in a decent spot. But here's some things that I think are really key to Anthony Richardson's success. They added Josh Downs, who I think, even though he went later than people were hoping, is a really nice slot wide receiver for a young quarterback. They have Michael Pittman, who's probably one of the better underrated wide receivers in the NFL. And when you look at the rookie quarterback situation, sure, Richardson probably has the worst offensive line, but he has by far the best weapons to work with in year 1. Not only should Anthony Richardson go as the number 1 quarterback in your rookie drafts just for his upside and his athletic potential, but he's got the most to work with in year 1, and I believe in his coach right now, probably more than all of the other rookie quarterback coaches put together. I think DeMeco Ryans is a nice coach. He could be a really good coach for CJ Stroud, but ultimately, Richardson's got the most to work with athletically, and he's got the most to work with roster-wise. I love Anthony Richardson far and above what I ever thought I would like for him in 2023 and beyond as a dynasty asset. He is the number 1 QB winner in my eyes when you look at this entire rookie class. All right, that is my NFL draft winners and losers for the 2023 NFL draft and dynasty fantasy football. Don't forget to be kind, do good, and I'll see you next time. Peace.